In this video we take a look at the list from B to H. Baga, god of wealth and good fortune. Bahram, god of victory in life and after death, associated with the warrior god Hvare. His name means smiting of resistance, and he epitomizes the concept of victory. On earth, he assists the righteous in their war against the forces of darkness. After death, he helps protect the justified soul on its journey to paradise. Barmayeh, the great cow of the Alborz mountains who nurses the hero Fereydun and cares for him. Bushyasta, demon of sloth who causes people to slip toward the forces of darkness as he makes them too lazy to resist comfort and commit to fighting for truth. Bushyasta, demon of laziness who prevents people from doing what they should. Cats, although there is myth associating the creation of the cat with the hero Rustum, cats were generally regarded with suspicion or outright fear because they were associated with the physical manifestation of the demons known as Krofstra who appeared as frogs, lizards, wasps, but also as animals such as lions and tigers. Chamrosh, a giant bird with a dog's body and the head and wings of an eagle. It lives beneath the tree of all seeds and, when the great bird Sinasimurg, living high in the tree's branches, flaps her wings, the seeds scatter and Chamrosh distributes them into the wind and rain to fall across the earth. Chamrosh is also a protective entity, who swoops down upon non-Iranian invaders, pecking at them and driving them away. Chinvat Bridge, the span between the world of the living and the land of the dead. After a person died, the soul lingered by the corpse for 3 days while the gods considered their ultimate fate and tallied up their good and bad deeds. On the 4th day, the soul traveled to the Chinvat Bridge where it was met by the holy maiden Daena who would comfort it. The soul would then cross the bridge, which became broad and easy for the justified but narrow and difficult for the condemned soul. Souls were protected from demonic attack by the angel Sarush and were threatened by the demons Asto-Vadatu and Esmadiva. At the end of the bridge, the angel Rashnu would judge the soul based on its deeds in life and assign it a fitting home in the afterlife, either the house of song, paradise, or the house of lies, hell. Cista, an early goddess of health and well-being who presided over one's path in life and also one's spiritual walk of faith. She was a companion of Mitra. Her name is translated to mean, to understand, or, to notice, and she inspired people to recognize the path they were on, change it if they were going wrong, and continue on with strength and perseverance if they were doing right, essentially, the personification of one's conscience. She was later replaced by Daena who welcomed or rebuked souls arriving at the Chinvat Bridge. Daena, the holy maiden who appears to the newly deceased on the Chinvat Bridge and comforts them as they cross. She is the personification of one's conscience and, as such, to the justified soul she appears as a beautiful maiden while, to the condemned, she is an ugly and frightening old hag. She is sometimes referenced as the daughter of Ahura Mazda and Armadi, combining wisdom and devotion, and so symbolizes the heart of religious belief. She is the later form of the earlier goddess Cista but with significant modifications such as her pivotal role at the Chinvat Bridge. Daevas, the mostly male demons in the service of Ingra Mainyu who spread lies and disorder in the world. Dev, demon of war and the terror of war, one of the most powerful Devas, completely lacking in morality or compassion. Din, goddess of forgiveness. Dogs feature prominently in Persian mythology as forces for good. 2 dogs guard the Chinvat Bridge and welcome justified souls while rebuking those who lived according to lies. Dog imagery also appears in depictions of the great bird Simurg, known as the dog bird, and Chamrosh. The 4-eyed dog, a dog with a spot above each eye, was considered especially potent protection against evil spirits. Drj, an evil demon who is the personification of the lie. Drvaspa, goddess of cattle, children, and friendship, who promotes harmony. Duzhyairya, demon of want, who causes bad harvests. Eranvej, the Pahlavi name for Arianian Veja, the center of the world. Faravahar, the famous Persian symbol of a royal figure seated on a solar disk in the center of outstretched wings, usually interpreted as representing divine grace and higher powers. Fereydun, another name for the great Persian hero King Fereydun, who defeats the evil dragon Ajidahaka, liberates the people from Zahak, the dragon's embodiment, and was father of the princes who waged the Iranian-Turanian War and the Shahnameh. Fravashis, guardian angels, an aspect of one's higher self. At birth, the Fravashis sends the soul, Urvan, into the physical body so that it can contribute to the fight against evil and experience the material world. At death, after 3 days, the Urvan is reunited with the Fravashi who assists it in crossing the Chinvat Bridge. The image of the Faravahar is often associated with the Fravashi as higher entities. Gandareva, Gandareva, a water demon in the form of a great dragon who churned the seas, sank ships, and came ashore to devour people, cattle, and homes. Known as the Golden-Heeled, he was finally defeated and killed by the hero Garshasp. Gandareva is said to guard the sacred Huma plant and tried to keep it and its many benefits for himself. Gaokerena, the healing and life-giving Huma plant which grew nearby the tree of all seeds in the center of the Varukasha Sea. It restored health when eaten and its juice granted vision and immortality to the resurrected dead. Garshasp, another name for the monster-slaying hero Garshasp, Karasaspa. Gavaevodata, the primordial bull, also known as the uniquely created bull, primordial bovine, primordial ox, the first unique creature made by Ahura Mazda after the creation of sky, water, earth, and vegetation. Gavaevodata, an androgyne, was so beautiful that Indra Manu killed it, but Ahura Mazda purified the bull's seed and, from this, came all other animals on earth. Gaya Maretan, keyoomars, the first king of the Iranians, in some legends, who established law in the land and initiated civilization. His grandson, Hushang, would later rework Gaya Maretan's early efforts and be known as the lawgiver. Gaya Maretan, the first man created by Ahura Mazda who was killed by Indra Manu. His seed was purified by the sun and engendered a rhubarb plant which later gave birth to the first mortal couple Mashya and Mashyanag, progenitors of all other humans. Geus-Tasan, god of cattle and their creator. Geus-Urvani, god of cattle and their protector. Hadhayans, the celestial bull. It was said to be so large it could easily stride the 7 regions of the earth and people could climb on its back to travel from one place to another. Hastarang, one of the 4 royal stars, modern designation Fomalhaut, which worked for good in the cause of Ahura Mazda. Guardian of the winter solstice. Known as the Watcher of the South. Huma, god of the harvest, health, strength, and vitality, personification of the Huma plant whose juices brought enlightenment and of which Gaokerena was the greatest and largest. Hushedar-mar Hvar Ksata. The grandson of the first mortal king, Gaya Maretan, and known as the great lawgiver who established civilization including agriculture. In some myths, he is the first king, in others Yama is the first king and, in still others, Gaya Maretan and Hushang follows after. Horvatat, goddess of wholeness, completeness, perfection and so associated with prosperity, wealth, and health. One of the 7 Amshah Spentas. House of Lies, the dark abode of the dead, a hell in which the condemned soul was tormented while simultaneously feeling completely alone. There were 4 levels descending down from the Chinvat Bridge, each one increasing in darkness until the lowest which was completely absent of all light. Souls sentenced to the House of Lies were those who had followed and worked for the forces of darkness, but, even so, they would not remain there eternally and would eventually be reunited with Ahura Mazda. House of Song, the bright realm of paradise after death where the justified souls who had served Ahura Mazda were welcomed. There were 4 levels ascending upwards from the Chinvat Bridge, where judgment was given, each brighter and lovelier than the last until one reached the highest heaven where the soul would live in the direct light of Ahura Mazda. Huma Bird, a mystical bird who lived an exceptionally long life before dying in its own flames and rising again like the phoenix. It flew over the earth constantly, never landing, and it was thought that if its shadow passed over a person it would bring good fortune. In some versions, the shadow would predict future kingship. Injuring, or attempting to injure, the Huma bird would bring a lifetime of bad luck. It is associated with the great bird Simurgh, although they may not be the same, and is most likely the bird depicted in sculpture at Persepolis. Hushedar, the first of 3 saviors to appear before the end of the world. When Hushedar appeared, people would stop eating meat and the sun would stand still for 10 days. Hushedar was followed by Hushedar-mar and then by Geus-Tasan, the final Messiah, whose name means, one who brings benefit, who would bring the end of the world and reconciliation with Ahura Mazda. Hushedar-mar, the second of 3 saviors to appear before the end of the world. When Hushedar-mar appeared, people would stop drinking milk and the sun would stand still for 20 days. Hushedar-mar would continue the work begun by Hushedar, but this would be interrupted by the demonic dragon Aji-Daraka, who would break his chains and wreak havoc on the world before his defeat and death, which would signal the coming of the last Messiah, the Geus-Tasan. Hvar Ksata, Hvare Khshaeta, god of the full sun, the many-horsed god, who drives his chariot across the sky throughout the day. His name means, radiant sun. He was later replaced by Mitra. This list will be continued in the next videos. Thank you for watching.